Okay, so we're going to move on to the most generous states. It's an ABC News story about Republican and religious states. Tell us.
Yeah, I tell you, I just decided, let me check. It's been a while since I've found this. And you know what? The results depends on who writes the article and what makes their state look best. Because I went to some liberal media sites and they said New York was the number one. You know, and
it depends on upon what you define charity.
Yes.
And since everything the government does is charity, and they charge the most, it must be the best.
New York is New York, Washington, and California are three political subdivisions that benefit greatly from money from the rest of the country that goes through there. I mean, Wall Street goes there.
Right.
Hollywood, entertainment.
They can show a large population. They show a lot of need.
Yeah, and D.C. is actually the wealthiest metropolitan area now in the nation. And what is their product? Government. You know, so government is enriching itself. All right, so the ones that have been the most relied upon on this issue, some of the media sites, go by percent of your income. It's a percent, not a dollar amount. New York wanted to look good on one of these surveys by actual dollar amount. So, anyway.
Well, when you've got millions more people than say, Oklahoma, dollar amount.
Yeah. Now, I went to another one that we didn't publish here that actually added to that hours spent on the average week in volunteer work. Holy smokes, that makes the Heartland look even better. Right. Okay?
Oh, wow.
But anyway, so this map, it's on 3D Politics Live. Take a look at it. It actually looks a lot like the last presidential election's electoral map, the red states and the blue states. Now, it's not scientifically that way. In fact, like,
well, aren't the colors the red and blue states?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But there were a couple of states that were blue for Clinton that actually looked almost as good as Oklahoma. Oklahoma looked pretty good on this one.
That's pretty good.
As a percent of our income and stuff. But here's what it gets to. And this is my point in this. When you contract out your duty to be charitable, to be compassionate, and you assign that over to the government, what you end up with is less compassionate people.
Yes.
Oh, very much so.
Excellent point.
Because we're letting the government force us and tell us what percent of charity we're supposed to cough up. And then they get to decide who that charity goes to.
Well, efficiency alone, government will be charitable to minus 75% of your efficiency.
Yeah, and I wrote an editorial this weekend. I think it was Saturday morning or Friday morning. It was on healthcare, and I don't want to delve deeply in this, but we've got this debate going on about is Oklahoma going to, quote, expand Medicaid and go from that 60% reimbursement we get right now. The government's going to reward us by giving off more money to people who need it less, people who can provide for themselves, and they're going to reward us by giving us 90% reimbursement. Now, here's my analogy in this. It's important, stay with me. Let's say your family, your neighbor, their car broke down or was in a crash, somebody stole it, they're out of a car, they need a car, they need help getting their vehicle replaced. They could either buy, and let's say we're going to buy a new car for the sake of this analogy. Either we could get them a Dodge Caravan for maybe $25,000, and you'd be willing to pay a little over half. Let's say you'll pay $15,000 and that family's got to come up with the other 10. Or we could buy them an Escalade for $50,000, and you'll pay $40,000 of that $50,000. Now, who would do that? Who would decide that if you want luxury, I will pay for more of your luxury than I would be willing to pay for your needs?
Right.
We don't do that. No charity that helps people would do that. Only our government thinks that that's wisdom. And so what Oklahoma needs to do is say no to this Medicaid expansion, number one, but more importantly, Oklahoma's delegation in Washington needs to fix this so that states that are prudent like Oklahoma are not subsidizing other states that are doing it, because we are right now.
Right.
Well, let's go even further, because remember, all charity must be voluntary.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you do not have rights to property, because they can come in and declare a need for whatever, and that's what we saw last year or a year and a half ago with the teachers' strike. Oh, we need more money, and we see that with the cry for more Medicaid, the cry for more Medicare, the cry for more Social Security, and Social Security is on the way, running out of money. 2 years, they're going to be spending more money than they take in.
It's only been coming.
Okay, and that's only because they are stealing it from the younger generations who can't use it yet.
Yeah.
And we still belong to that younger generation, by the way. And so the point is that this is theft.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's call it what it is. It is theft, and those who accept that charity are doing what?
Yeah.
They are receiving stolen goods.
Yeah. So when you let the government take over the work of charity, you actually kill charitability.
All right.
Oh, how many times have you wanted to? Somebody comes up and asks for money, and you're like, no, you've got plenty of my money from the government. There's plenty of programs out there. You can go get fed from one of those. You don't need my hard-earned money that I have only so much left of.
The people that run the charities.
I mean, how many times have you thought that? Right?
The people that run the charities in Tulsa will tell you, don't give them the money. Send them here. We'll come get them.
Yeah.
They say, don't give them the money.
Yeah.
There's no reason. We'll come pick them up if we have to.
I want to say something. Rush Limbaugh Sr., the famous TV or radio commentator, Rush Limbaugh Jr., he says his dad put it to him this way. He said, how many people that when they get their paycheck would go down the block, door to door, and say, I just got paid, do you want some of my money? Yeah. No, but we let the government do it for us.
So we have had this discussion before, and we've especially Oldham and I have debated this term usage, because both he and I care about terms. When government forces money out of you to do what they call charity, we agree that's not charity.
No.
Correct.
There's a different word I use.
Yes, you do.
And I just want to use that.
Go ahead.
Instead of saying charity, because it's not charity, it's eleemosynary spending. When the government takes your money by force to do welfare, that's eleemosynary spending. It's not charity.
Okay, what's your term?
Well, I'm still working on a term for it.
Okay, I'll tell you my term. It's called piracy.
Yes. Well, you're talking about Washington, D.C., and the only thing that I had in mind was Hispaniola around the turn of the 19th century, with all of the privateers and pirates that were housed in Hispaniola, which is Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. But anyway, they lived high on the hog. They were perhaps the richest place in the world at the time because of all of the treasure that they were bringing in. And they were doing it under actual lawful means by letters of marque and reprisal from various countries.
Yeah, it's government's legal plunder. It's basically whoever's
mostly stolen from the Spanish at the time.
Yeah. To get off this ABC News story about the most generous states from August 20th, the upshot was that Republican-leaning states give somewhat more because, mostly, of religious ties. So there you go.
And think about this: how much more would they be able to give? Because I think the highest was about 5.7% of total income. When you look at the vast majority of your tax bill, the vast majority, 75 to 80% roughly, goes to this kind of charity. And if you had all of that money in your pocket to spend as you would, how would that work?
But they're called entitlements, David.
Well,
and
entitlements means means what? Receiving stolen goods. I get to receive your money. That's what it means.
All right.
So